What's going on, y'all? You're here for another episode of Conversations with the Media Prince. And like any other episode, I have a dynamic guest. This gentleman is a pillar, okay? Someone that you hope to be in the realms of if you work hard enough in this industry. This brother is a connoisseur, a tastemaker, a music executive. He says he's Mr. Important but not famous, but please, this brother is famous. He's helped garner the careers of some incredible people. Just to throw a few names out there like Trina, 50 Cent, Robin Thicke, T.I. The list goes on. We see him doing his thing with Double XL. I mean, the list can go on, but let me welcome you, the one, the only, Mr. Amir Boyd. How are you, brother?
That's good, man.
Hey.
That's a great introduction, man.
I mean, you deserve it, man. I couldn't wait to say this introduction. You know, I've been trying to get you on our couch for a minute.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. You know, I come from humble beginnings, man, and I've done a lot of stuff I forget. So,
well, this gonna be a nice refresher because when I tell you, just coming up as media prints in this industry, there are the GOATs that we just feel are such a far reach to get to. So I feel like a kid in the candy store that I get to like actually meet, shake hands, and talk to like the legends. I'm like, oh my goodness, like. I always wanted to meet these people, and now I get to dive more into your story. And I think you're going to help put a lot of pieces of the puzzle together for a lot of people that listen to you. But before you were the guy we see today, take us back. What did you even know you had a creative eye?
I always knew I was creative. I was always drawing and things of that nature when I was a kid. And my dad is actually a graphic artist, worked at a lot of newspaper companies across the country, actually designed the county seal for Charlotte, Mecklenburg County when he was 19.
Wow. I know all about Mecklenburg County too.
Yeah. Charlotte is the biggest city in the state of North Carolina. So my dad designed the county seal that's still on the county buildings and police cars and things of that nature.
Wow.
When he was 19, he designed that. So I always knew that I was creative because here I am at like 17, 18, 19 designing things for people, you know, logos and things of that nature. So I always knew I could do that part.
Yeah.
But, and I've always been, I never like, I tried to play instruments and things of that nature, but I realized that wasn't my thing. But it took me to see a couple of things. One, the Uptown video with Andre Harrell. Like I remember seeing that video and I was like, man, he's an executive. Like I want to do that. And then when I got to college, I started throwing parties, and that's when I knew, okay, all right, bro, you know what your bag is. It's this marketing and promotions thing, because I began to throw parties out of my house. I lived directly across the street from Morgan. They started out as cookouts.
Got you.
And I mean,
that's usually how they always start,
bro. we was broke. We went, stole somebody's grill. We would go to Murray's. Ooh. They had a Murray's up there in Baltimore, and we would go to Murray's.
Would never know about Murray's.
Man, you know what I'm saying? We stole somebody's grill, walked it down to my yard, and then my homeboy had a little dual cassette player and some speakers. We set that up. Went to Murray's. Got all the cheap stuff, went to the liquor store, got all the cheap stuff, and just started cooking. And people would walk by and smell the food and started coming over to the house. Wow. And then I was like, some said, bro, you could really start throwing these parties, right? Because the parties in Baltimore at the time, when I was in school, they only played go-go when it was time the party to end. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely was hearing hip-hop. And when you heard the Baltimore music, and then you might hear the butt and sardines and, you know, work the walls or whatever.
Right.
So I was like, nah. And I always had a headset on. I always had a CD or cassette tape, Walkman. I always walked around with listening to music. And I was known for having all of these PA tapes. Red Essence, Chuck Brown, you name it, I had them. And I started throwing these parties in my house, but they was just go-go music. It was just off of cassette tapes. So I'm literally DJing the parties using a dual cassette joint, and in my basement, and I'm talking about 200-300 people in my basement, going crazy, right? And then something said, because it was like everything was revealing to me, and every time I would do something different. And then I was like, damn, I wonder if I could charge people to come in here.
Ding!
Yeah. Started charging people $5. I would go get a keg. The keg was like $75. I would figure that out. And I would go get a keg, and I started charging people to come in. And I had you know, the luxury of growing up in this area at that time was we wanted to be grown. Like, you know, I'm 13, 14 years old. I'm in the clubs out here, you know what I'm saying? Because we had fake IDs. And I mean, obviously I looked like a baby, but I had somebody else ID that said they was 18. So I'm getting in the clubs. And I had known with the Ritz, I remember the Ritz Club, like it was like 3 floors. I was like, man, this shit is amazing. I started doing that shit in my house, and every floor had different music.
That's lit.
The top floor was like a lounge area. The bottom floor, the middle floor was a DJ that played all kinds of music, and then the bottom floor was me down there DJing these cassette tapes. Once I started doing that, I was like, damn. The next day, my house would look like a Dr. Dre video. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers passed out on the floor and shit. And I was like, damn, they fucking my house up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I'm getting a little money, but they fucking my house up too. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm aiming with my house, right? So I was like, shit, I wonder if I could find another spot to do this at.
Right.
I knew some guys that was already throwing parties at Morgan before I got there, and they were from here, and they started coming to my parties too, and they were getting ready to graduate, and one day they took me off campus and was like, hey bro, we getting ready to show you how to do this. You the one. They was like, man, we've been looking for somebody to take this off, you know, from us. You know what I'm saying? Because we leaving. They were called the Shingdings. They was like, we leaving, we getting ready to graduate, but you about to carry the torch. They took me to the bus company, because I could go to the bus company, rent a bus for $100. The bus would go to Towson, UMBC, Coppin, all the schools around Morgan, pick people up, drop them off to my party, come back one time to see if they wanted to leave. You know what I'm saying? Come back again at the end of the night, take them home.
Oh, dang. You had a little system.
Had a little system. Then they took me to the liquor store, showed me who I need to buy my liquor from, what liquor I need to buy, how much they was going to charge me. Then they took me to this club called the Soca Palace. The Soca Palace is where it was down on Green Mountain. And they was like, yo, this how much they going to charge you. This club going to charge you $400. So I'm spending about $500 to throw parties. These guys was doing theirs like twice a month on a Wednesday. They said, do your parties on Wednesday because people don't really got classes on Thursdays. And if they do, they got like, you know, late classes. Or whatever. So they gave me this game and I ran with it. And that's when I was like, I'm designing my own flyers and everything. I just, and I was already kind of like, you know, everybody from the DMV, we kind of hung with each other, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of was already, you know, we was all popular, right? But I kind of stood out a little bit because once I started doing these parties, I was like, man, fuck this school shit. Like I really was on some fuck this school shit. And that is the time where I was like, all right, yeah, this your bag, bro. Like, I give all the credit to Morgan State because that's where I found my niche.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important for people, like, you know, to realize where your niche comes from.
Do you remember that party where the idea awoke in you like, okay, now what's next?
Every single one. Every single party I had, I kept saying, what's next? While I was in the party, like while I was partying, I'm in there like, all right, yeah, this is fun, this is cool, I'm making a little money, you know what I'm saying, but I can make it better. Like, what can I do to make it better? Every single party. I wish I had every single flyer that I created because they were literally me going to Kinko's, you know, getting different color paper.
Kinko's.
Yes, exactly, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling my age. I don't care, I'm 51. I'm getting ready to be 52 years old. And
Black don't crack unless you on it, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man, I'm trying to tell you. And I've had an amazing run. So, you know what I mean? But every single event, even I'm still like that to this day. If I'm you know, I'm at an event or something I created, I'm sitting there like, man, how can I make this better next time? You know what I mean? Or if I'm with one of my clients and they doing an interview and I'm like sitting in the back and I'm like, how can I make this better for them next time? Like I'm always thinking about the next.
Got you.
Always.
And it's kind of alignment for you too, because that was also your first seat of also seeing what the music consumer likes, what their ears like, how they vibe into this song, how they vibe into that song. So it kind of connects the dots to how you were able to spill into that world.
Absolutely. I think some of the prettiest women in the world right in this area, right? So when we go to schools, when we go to colleges, we all click up. You know what I'm saying? So with the parties, everybody else, all the other cities and stuff, they knew the girls from DC and PG County was pretty, and they ain't even like go-go music, but they started coming to the parties because of the women. You know what I'm saying? So, and then, you know, what go-go is, it's more than just the music. It's an experience.
Got you.
So a lot of them would come to the parties and be like, man, I don't like this go-go. But then they'd get in there and be like, bro, this is all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the girls dancing and, you know, they don't care about where you from. If you in there, it's on. And for me, it was like, oh, okay. That one party just led to the next one, to the next one. And then I got to a point where I ain't have to DJ no more. I had a DJ in my crew, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, I'm just the guy at the door, making sure people having a good time, leaving and coming, you know what I'm saying? Leaving and going, like, hey. And to this day, if I do something, I'm at the end of the night, I'm at the door, thanks for coming. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I'm still that person to this day.
How important was that to always still make sure your guests feel like that?
Still one of the most important things, because to me, and I've actually done my own little research, asking around on social media and things of that nature, like what makes people go to a party? They always say, if I mess with the promoter, if I like the promoter, if he the homie, then I'm gonna go. And I know it's because of those little small intricate things, like being at the door, shaking hands. I remember Russell Simmons always coming out at the end of Def Jam Comedy saying, thank you, God bless, and good night. I remember him saying that every single time. And I used to be like, why he do that every night? But then I got to thinking, that makes it memorable. You know what I'm saying? And you get to see who is the one, you know what I'm saying? That was him saying thank you to everybody for coming out. God bless, good night. I took that and was like, oh yeah, I'm about to add this to my thing. This is what I do. I had a free 50th birthday party 2 years ago or a year and a half ago down in Ivy City. I did the same thing at my 50th birthday party. Fried. Still was out there thanking everybody for coming. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I just put in my, because people like to feel appreciative, and that makes them want to come back.
And it builds your community.
It builds your community.
Which I think a lot of people are now learning too late, that community needs to be a part of every intricate detail where you're creating. Because that's going to be your consumers, that's going to be the fan, that's going to be the audience that holds on to you wherever you go. The
community part. You ready to get into that now? In this conversation?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm talking to you about my 50th birthday party, right? And it was free. It was an epic party. And the next day, one of the homies that I went to college with, he's like, man, that party was A1. He said, you had the party of the year. He said, man, but what I wanted to call you about, shout out to my man Lam, he said, what I called you about was, I saw how you were building community in there. And he said, everybody you had working in that party for you was a part of your community, from the DJs to the venue to the person who did the decorations. He said every single person that you had, and it allowed them to get their businesses in front of other people. You know what I'm saying? And I said, this is my guy. You know, I've known him since he was in college, and he was like, he had 5%, and he was like, that's what we talk about in the 5% nation. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that's what we on, building community. He said, so when I see it done, I know what it is. And I had to tell him, I said, bro, I used to be hanging with them. I never transitioned into that because I'm still my own man, you know what I'm saying? But I took principles from it, you know what I'm saying? And just applied it to my daily process. And not only that, like my mom is big on community. I used to be riding around the city, my mom dropping food off to homeless people and homeless families, and we'd be sitting at the light and she'd see somebody, a mother with like 3 kids, and be like, man, we about to take them wherever they about to go. You feel me? I remember, and I've been on the receiving end of that too. So I know what communities should look like. I know where it starts, and I know how it should never end, for real. When you end something, it should be a part of your life. So I always apply the principles that I've learned through my process of growing up to every single thing that I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And community just is so important because, man, you know, and I've been back home for almost a little over a year. And you said something. You said, you know, I think people are starting to realize how important community is. And that was the thing that I felt like was missing here. You know what I mean? Everybody, I hear people say crabs in a barrel. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's just, I don't think nobody is, because crabs in a barrel is you going up and they snatching you back down.
Right.
I don't think it's a lot of that.
Right.
I think it's more so, man, I got my own thing going on. I don't need y'all help. See, that's the difference with community, right? See, community is, man, I need help, and this person is dope at what they do. Come on over here and get into this. You know what I'm saying? It should be community and not competition.
That's the part where Keenan supposed to jump out and say message. Like, that's literally what it is. You've also been in a lot of rooms, and from being from here, not everybody is mentally prepared to go in the rooms that you have walked in. How do you, being from here, there's also an essence of
I know where you're going.
realness that we just are, and champness that we're not going to associate with.
Yeah.
But then there's also a business hat that you have to put on, that you may have to deal with that.
Yeah.
What was that experience like where you had to put on the business Amir hat and maybe have to deal with BS that you know? You get what I'm saying?
So I like to say there's an arrogance that we have here that's a gift and a curse.
Okay.
The arrogance is, hey man, I ain't doing all of that. And then there's the arrogance of, you know, like I never heard anybody in any other city say, man, Slim think he like that, or she thinks she like that. I feel like I'm supposed to think I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I gotta know when to, like, not dim my light, but just more so navigate my light in a different way so I can get to where I need to go. I have several examples of that, but in business, you know, you can't be in these rooms thinking you the smartest one. So sometimes it's important for you to shut up and listen. You know what I'm saying? And learn. There's so much value in shutting up and listening and learning, right? I mean, there's a reason we got 2 ears. If we had 2 mouths, can you imagine if we had, there's a reason we got 2 ears, right? So a lot of times, I had to learn, you know, that, right? But I also played sports when I was a kid, you know, and I understood whose role and who need to play what role and when to fall back and when to take charge. And my name is Amir. Amir means prince, leader. So I've been walking in that life since I was a kid. You understand what I'm saying? So I've always been a leader. There are times when you can't be a good leader if you've never been led before. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't know when to be the one that's getting led. Like ain't nobody just born leaders. You know what I mean? They learn something from somebody to get to where they need to be. Right? So in my process, I learned early on, all right, I can like shift and play different positions when I need to. When I got into this music business thing, I realized when I got to the radio station, PGC, working in there, to me, that was like, okay, all right, boom, I'm in the music business now. Even though I was working part-time. I was probably making $4.25 an hour, 20 hours a week. But I knew that none of that was going to keep me from being where I wanted to be. And then I started seeing people in there coming in and was like, oh, they light the room up. That's the job I want. They were working at labels. Oh, they the ones who got the credit cards, who got the fly sneakers. They the one. Oh yeah, I bet that's the job I'm about to go get. And I just stayed streamlined, focused on that, and started building those relationships with those people who were doing it. And you know, I heard somebody say a long time ago, successful people have 2 or 3 people who've done something for them that aren't related to them. And I was like, okay, all right. I got some people who have helped me get into some rooms. And they knew that they ain't have to babysit me. Mm-hmm. They knew that I was going to come out of there with who was in charge of information and build those relationships. So that's part of the navigating in rooms, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be savvy enough to, man, let me chill right here for a little bit until my opportunity comes so I can have a conversation with this person. If you see them over there in the corner having a conversation with somebody, that ain't the time. Just fill out the room, fill out the room. As long as you in there, you supposed to be there. And another thing too, I feel like your confidence is supposed to be A1 all the time. So when you in them rooms, you supposed to look like you belong there.
That part. Absolutely that part. As you are where you are now today, how often do you reflect and like put it together like, dang, all these pieces were really like aligned?
Almost every day, because I realized that I spoke all of this into existence, right? I remember being in the 5th grade and career day came and we had this, it was either yellow or pink sheet of paper with all these careers on it. And I remember checking TV and radio broadcasting, right? And then I didn't know what that was. But then I ended up going to school to be a history teacher. But I remember when I got out of college that I ended up working for the Department of Defense. You know, we all had a good government job, right?
Yeah.
And I remember telling this lady at the mail room, I was like, well, hold on, before that, I remember telling one of my homeboys, he actually reminded me this when I first moved to LA. He said, man, one day me and you was walking down the alley smoking and you was like, man, fuck this school shit. I'm about to go work for Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, and Snoop Dogg and them. And he said, I looked at you like you was crazy. He said, because we wasn't even talking about that. He was like, you randomly said this. And he was like, man, whatever. And then 2017, I'm moving to LA to go work for Interscope as an executive again.
Ain't that crazy?
And he said to me, bro, I've been watching you ascend. And he said, you actually encouraged me to do some things that I needed to do because I watched you say this to me. You said, I'm getting ready to go work for Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Jay-Z and them. He said, I ain't know. He was like, you ain't know them. He was like, you ain't know none of them, bro. He was like, you just said that that's what you was about to go do. And I know that wasn't the straight line path. You went and did some other things. And he said, but look at you now. And I remember writing a letter to myself or emailing myself a letter when I first moved to Atlanta. And I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about, like speaking this stuff. So I always reflect because I knew where I wanted to be. I'm not done. I got some more stuff that I'm going to do. I think the way you talk, the words you use is very important. Like you notice I didn't say I got some more stuff that I'm trying to do. I don't talk like that. I say I'm going to do. You know what I mean? It's either we going or we not. Like I don't do the try, I don't do the grades, I don't do none of that. It's black or white with me. So I'm like that with my vocabulary because it's important to me. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm gonna try this out. To me, that already gives failure, right? That to me, that's giving some doubt. Nah, bro, I don't walk like that. So fast forward, I say that to the homie. This like 94, 5, 6. When I say that to him, I ended up dropping out of school after I had my kid, and I ended up getting a government job. And I remember telling the lady at the mailroom, her name was Yanni, I'll never forget. I said, man, I just ain't like this government job shit. I mean, I knew I wasn't an office guy, right? But I was going in there and was doing what I needed to do, doing personnel for the teachers overseas. So that was always something in my mind, man. I can go back and teach, and I can go overseas and teach. I was doing the personnel, I was making sure they got paid. So I was like, I told the lady, I said, man, fuck this job shit. I'm getting ready to go work at the radio station. And she was like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Fast forward a couple of months later, we doing, I'm working at PGC, we doing a gas promotion, giving away free gas at the Amico right there on Good Hope.
Okay.
And she pulled up, she said, damn, you said you was gonna go work at the radio station. She said, now I'm sitting here watching you work at the radio station. She was like, yo, you said it. See, so again, I always knew where I was going. So I'm often reflecting on it, because now I'm looking at it like, all right, you on the road with that. Like, keep that going, you know what I'm saying, even to this day. So I'm always in constant reflection.
Yeah. So you're an executive at Interscope Records. If you could describe that whole experience in 3 words, how would you sum it up?
3 words. Exciting.
Okay.
Challenging.
Okay.
As well as disappointing.
Oh.
I think the closer you get to the top,
yeah,
the more you realize it's bullshit. Some of them meetings you in, and some of the do's and don'ts and rules and this, that, and the third that you cannot do and cannot say. You know what I'm saying? The business is so crazy. That side of the business is so crazy. It's like, if I wanted to do this with you when I was working at Interscope, I got to check with them. And I'm like, damn, why I got to check with them? Like, I work for myself. Like, I work for y'all, but I'm my own entity. But see, it's on likeliness of, you know, like they want to, you know what I mean? And they want to make sure you don't say the wrong thing. And I'm like, the wrong thing? Like, what are y'all oh, we don't want you talking about streaming. I don't give a fuck. Like, okay. You see what I'm saying? So that's the disappointing part.
Gotcha.
The exciting part was, yo, I got to make some shit happen that can't nobody say, yeah, Amir didn't make that happen. You know what I mean? I got to put up some scores.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? I got to put some shit up. You know what I mean? You know, I made some things happen that I'm super proud of about. You feel me?
Yeah.
Another thing that's disappointing is, yo, like, I was thinking about this yesterday. You know, that's why, you know, I'm always reflecting. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, damn, I picked up, moved from Atlanta to move to LA. And 7 years later, 8 years later, they decided that they was gonna merge companies and decided to lay me off. And now, and my last conversation with the heads over there was, you know, he's like, man, we wish we could have done this in person. I was in Zoom. I had enough intuition to know that it was about to happen. And I went to Atlanta for another meeting, and we did it over Zoom. And one of the guys was like, man, we wish we could have done this in person. I was like, for what? And I was like, they was like, well, I said, you know what? The only thing that I'm pissed off about is, like, I actually packed up and moved to LA for this. And I was like, but I'm gonna get over that. And I was like, but you know, y'all will see me again. So it's different phases of it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, those are the 3 words I would probably say.
Yeah. But it's also dope that you shared that too, because we don't get to hear the GOATs talk about disappointment too much.
See, I think anytime you sitting down with somebody, you should be talking about the losses. That's where the lessons are. All the victories, man. I remember before we went, I've forgotten some of the stuff that I've been a part of, but I can tell you every single thing I lost. And the losses are the lessons. So I can tell you every single lesson I learned in this shit. I can't tell you Yo, how many times you heard your song on the radio? I can't tell you none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you every time that I do hear a song that I work on the radio, it feels like it's the first time. But I can't tell you how many times did you take such and such to blah, blah, blah. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you every single lesson I've learned in this business. Every single one. Because they all came with a loss.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, can you tell me this? What has been your favorite song to be a part of, and who has been your favorite artist to work with?
Wow. Favorite song to be a part of? Damn, that's a good question. I never even thought about that, bro. That's a really great question. Let me. Damn, that's a great question, bro.
We'll start off with who has been your favorite artist to work with?
I mean, so the homies in Atlanta, the Grand Hustle family, those like my brothers. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't really look at none of them like they artists, even though they are. You know what I'm saying? So, but like they probably about to call me. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So I look at that a little different. But there's an artist that I really, really love, like a brother too, and his name is Nick Grant, and he's a really incredible artist and
that's crazy
rapper. And
we got to meet him years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's amazing. I think that every artist needs a defining record, and I think that's all he needs. I think a lot of people know him on some rappers that like listen to rap or they know rappers. They know Boy can get down. You feel me? He's one of my favorites. Right now, I'm managing a young lady named Libra Jolie out of Houston.
Ooh.
Libra Jolie, Lebra Jolie, Jolie, like Angelina Jolie.
Like that.
And we just put her album out March 20th. It's called Better Than Yesterday. This is the first time I got to be a part of, from the beginning to the end of a project. And actually A&R and be in the studio and shift the direction and say, okay, this is what we about to talk about, and this is what and these the beats, and these the producers, and these the blah blah blah. And it's the most gratifying thing I've done in the music business so far. Yeah. I remember one time I was sitting on the panel, and he was like, what's something that you learned that and since you've been in the music business that you could take anywhere else? I never in my life thought that I would be putting a band together to go do a live performance on Stephen Colbert. I never envisioned that.
That's a big deal, y'all, ladies and gentlemen.
In my life, I never thought I would be, okay, let me get this drummer. Drummers, do y'all know some people who play the horns? All right, send them my way. Keyboard player, like booking flights. I never thought that if somebody had said to me, yo, in 1999, when you start working at PGC and your first event is for Sisters Only down at the old convention center, what are you going to do? You're going to end up putting a live band together for the Stephen Colbert show. I'd be like, man, fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's being able to play different positions. And when you in these positions, when you in these rooms, you got to know, okay, sometimes I'm the point guard. Sometimes I'm the shooting guard. Sometimes I'm the center. Sometimes I'm the small forward. Sometimes I'm the big forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it helps you.
When's the last time you had that pinch me out of body experience? Like, damn, this is my life.
So, it's a couple of them, but probably like after I lost my job in LA, I stayed out there for another year, and a couple of months afterwards, I got a call from somebody who I look at as like the greatest entertainer of all time, like the greatest, you know what I'm saying? And it was Stevie Wonder, and he called me to tell me, because I was like, yo, man, I'm thinking about leaving LA, and he was like, nah, don't leave.
Damn.
He was like, you know, I had just got back from Atlanta having the same conversation with a friend of mine, and she was like, man, you need to stay in LA, it's proximity. And Stevie was like, don't leave, bro. Like, you need to stay, you know, whoops, everything gonna work out. You'll be fine. And he said some stuff to me, and then I'm in a Uber, he asked to speak to the Uber driver. He was like, put me on speaker. And I was like, I did. And he was like, man, thank you for getting Amir home safe. And he said he's a really good, friend of mine. So I guess probably maybe 2 or 3 years prior to that, when I was at his studio and he was like, take my phone number. Like that, that made me, that kind of freaked me out. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know how fucking major that is?
And I've got to, like, some of the dopest things to me are having my friends and peers or my family be a part of this too, right? Yeah. I lost one of my really good friends in 2008. And that was like when my career was like on the runway, right? I was, was coming, I was on the record side, but things were, and he hasn't been able to experience this physically, but I know he with me, you know what I'm saying? But my daughters have gotten to do some amazing things and go some amazing places. My friends, like, my mom, like, they've got to see some of this. You know what I'm saying? My friends to this day, they'll tell me stuff that or they'll tell me, yeah, man, one time you introduced me to Trina. And I'm like, bro, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, you had me, we were smoking with 8-Ball and JG. And I'm like, for real? You know what I'm saying? And so having them tell me these stories.
That's some epic stories. But first of all, just to know that Stevie Wonder is making sure I get home safe and sound. And he's making sure that the Uber driver knows. You better make sure your ass is driving.
The Uber driver was like, was that Stevie Wonder? For real? Because it say Stevie Wonder on the phone. And he was like, I was like, yeah. He was like, man, I can't. He said, wait till I tell my wife I talked to Stevie Wonder today. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and I got I've had, Thanksgiving dinner and Father's Day with them and all that kind of stuff. It's just an awesome relationship I got with him and his family. And it's, Kendrick did a show out in LA, and this was on I forgot what tour. It was Damn, I think it was Damn, and I hit Stevie. I was like, yo, you wanna go to the show? He's like, yeah, I need these tickets, woo, woo, woo. And then afterwards, we went back stage and Kendrick came down and hollered at Stevie or whatever case. And my boss at the time was like, bro, this couldn't happen to a better person. He was like, I knew that you loved Stevie Wonder before all of this, right? He was like, and for you to have the relationship with Stevie Wonder that you got, he said, it's fitting. You know what I mean? Because I've been a Stevie Wonder fan.
It's alignment.
Yes. That goes into, I didn't speak that into existence, right? But I did speak me moving into LA into existence. When I was working with Nick, we kept going out there, recorded one of his projects out there, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna end up living out here. You know what I mean? So yeah.
How would you say you were able to balance fatherhood with all the greatness you were doing?
Man, I made some sacrifices, right? Because when I moved to LA, my kids, one of them was at USC and the other one was still in high school and in Georgia. When I first got in the music business on the record side, I asked Kevin Lyles. I said, I asked a couple of people, but Kevin was one of them. I said, how do you balance this, with being a dad? Mm-hmm. And he said, do you know your daughter's favorite colors? And I said, yeah. He said, don't never forget their favorite colors. And he said, I'm not really the best person to answer this question, but I can tell you that I didn't remember my daughter's favorite color. And it messed her up and it messed me up. Mm. And he was like, so don't forget their favorite colors. Then I had somebody else say, hey, make them a part of it. He was like, hey, if I send you to Disneyland, if I send you to Disney World, he was like, take your family with you. You know what I'm saying? Take your daughters with you. You know what I mean? If you make it a trip, you know what I mean? So I learned how to make them a part of it. You know what I'm saying? And they'll tell me, hey, yeah, we went to see Justin Bieber and we went backstage and kicked it with him, or you know what I'm saying? And they always been around this shit, so it ain't nothing to them.
Yeah.
Like,
but that gotta feel good too that you've created that experience.
Absolutely, it does. And they are amazing humans. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the times I I didn't miss birthdays and, you know, all the important stuff, but I might have missed, you know, because they'll say to me, yeah, we ain't really tripping. You know what I mean? I might have missed certain things, but the big stuff, they can't say, and they'll say this, like, man, he was always there. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they got to see the reward of it, right? You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, man, I'm sitting in the house not working, right? You know what I'm saying? Even when I was down, I still was like making stuff happen. So for them, they get to see a creative work ethic that was nonstop. So, and that's something I try to, you know, the whole we ain't doing, or we not trying, we only do in this family. My kids are super overachievers. Oh man, I'm worried about this test. I don't even be tripping. And how you doing a test? Man, I got 110.
Yeah, somebody's about to become a doctor, right? Or...
One of them is already a nurse practitioner. Yes, she graduated from USC, then went to Columbia in New York, and graduated from there. And she's living in New York. The other one is the youngest head coach in NCAA sports. She coaches a sport called acro tumbling, which is like cheerleading and gymnastics put together. And she's been doing it at this college called Caldwell University for I think 2 years. But yeah, they you know, they accomplishing great things. So
yeah, they are.
My mom says I have to take some credit for that.
You should. You've done great.
You know what I'm saying? And I try to. But
and you've guaranteed that you got some, that you've done good for them, so now they'll make sure your diapers change.
Man, that's all I ask for. Like, that's all I can ask for. Like, just, or at least put me in one of them fly houses, you know, one of them fly communities, you know what I'm saying? Where I can be straight. But yeah, it's been a challenge sometimes because, again, like, when you parenting, you want to fight all your kids' battles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you get older, you like, yeah, nah, I gotta let them figure this out. But I'll be there if you need me to. You know what I'm saying? Like I'ma still be there.
Yeah.
But I gotta let you figure this part out. You know what I mean? Because that's the growing up part.
Yeah. And you've done that tremendously, which is why you can see it transcend to where they go in their life.
Yeah.
So shout out to you.
Yeah. When it's they mom too. Like I give them, their mom was definitely they go like my mom. They mom's mom, you know, we got a tribe, you know what I'm saying, that's been there and made things happen. So me and they mom not together, but she definitely has played a role in the development of this. There's no way I could have done any of that.
That's also something too we gotta we don't talk enough about too. It's also, aside from being the father, choosing a good mother is also a part of it. And so clearly you've been making great choices.
Not all, but yes.
But yes.
You know what I'm saying?
When it's all said and done, how does Amir Boyd want to be remembered?
It's funny. I reflect on that sometimes, right? I want to be remembered as someone who, you know, somebody said, man, Amir changed my life. You know what I mean? I want to be remembered as someone who just tried to make things happen for the betterment, you know what I mean, of whatever the situation was, and somebody can say, well, I learned this from Amir, or he showed me how to do this, or he introduced me to this person, or he brought me to this spot. I give you, you know, I have several different examples of that. One being Curator, right? One of the homies hit me one time and was like, yo, bro, look at this video. We was on Twitter and he sent me this video and Curator's name was Entendre at the time. And Curator was
eclectic.
He was a student at Towson University. I just happened to be in DC. Mm-hmm. I hit him. A couple days later, he hit me back. And I was like, hey, man, I'm gonna come up there and see you. He was working at the Fridays or the PF Chains, or maybe it was Fridays, in Baltimore. And I went up there and sat down with him, and I said to him, hey, bro, I think you're dope. I don't, you know, need anything from you, but just let me serve as a mentor for you. You need anything, you want somebody to look at your videos, or you want somebody to listen to your music or whatever, just hit me up. I ended up, Broccoli City Festival was at St. E's. I had Nick Grant on there.
That's when I got to talk to Nick Grant at the Sainties look when we were up there.
Well,
That's crazy.
Solange was on, she was in headline. And I snuck Corday in. I snuck Corday in to Broccoli City, right? And then I end up, and he was somebody like me, like I ain't gotta worry about him. Once he get in, he gonna do everything. He gonna go meet people. He gonna be, next thing I know, he's like, yeah, I just got finished talking to Solange and we was in there kicking it, woo, woo, woo. And then I moved to LA. He the first person to come visit me in my office. And I was trying to get Interscope to sign him, you know. And he ended up having a meeting at Interscope, and he told them, well, why am I having a meeting at Interscope and Amir ain't in the meeting? So the executives brought me into the meeting, right, to try to help close the deal or whatever the case may be. Him and his partner, they went and did something else with Atlantic. But nonetheless, he ended up doing his promo run down here in DC, I think at Curl or something. And my homegirl, who I started on the record side, we used to work at Atlantic and Bad Boy together. She says, Amir, I didn't know that you was Corday's mentor. And I'm like, yeah. She was like, well, somebody just asked him if he had a mentor in the music business, and he said your name. He didn't even have to think about it. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, I helped him do this, woo, woo. And he was like, man, he really cared about you. Like and then, you know, it was just a lot of little situations. Like he came to see me out in LA, Complex Con. I give him backstage passes. Next thing you know, he ended up hooking up with them YBN guys. You know what I'm saying? It was like, bro, I already know what you are. He said to me one time, he said, man, I'm gonna be one of the biggest rappers in the world. And I saw a lot of him. I saw a lot of me in him, like him speaking things. I was like, oh. And to this day, if I hit him right now, he gonna be like, hey, what you need, bro? Type, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's important.
Hey. So, what is, before I play the game, which I do want to know, explain to us what is important, not famous.
So, I used to be Lil Duval's road manager, right? Shout out to my boy Clay, rest in peace. I miss you, bro. Clay, he put me on the road with Duval during a little time at Grand Hustle, and Duval used to be like, man, we about to pull over, get some gas, or you know, you want to go in the store, get something. He used to be playing around, but he'd say, man, I'm too famous to be going in the store by myself, type, you know, saying little stupid stuff or whatever. So I was like, yeah, you are kind of famous. And I was like, but, and I started thinking, I was like, but for every famous person, there's about 50 to 100 important people who help make this one person famous. Everybody got a team. You know what I'm saying? Everybody play their role.
Facts.
So that's when I came up with the important, not famous. I am important. I'm not famous. Listen. Famous, you need security, and you know what I'm saying. To me, airport famous, right? You know, LL Cool J can't walk through BWI. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z, Beyonce, they can't walk through BWI. They can't walk through DCA. They can't do that. I mean, I can get straight in. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't famous. I know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But so I took the role of being important serious to me, right? Because I'm the one pulling the strings. I'm the one that's saying, hey, we gotta be here at 8 o'clock. I'm the one saying, hey, this is what we about to be talking to. You might see me with them in the back, walking them in or walking them in front of them, trying to make sure they straight. I'm making sure everybody good. You know what I mean? I'm the important person, and it's several of us. You know what I'm saying? Helping making this 1 or 2 or 3 people famous. That's something I just embraced, and you know, shout out to Duval, because he used to say to me, man, I'm too famous for this. I'm too famous for that. And this is like, you know, one of my homies too, right? He used to say that, and it kind of sparked that. You know what I mean? And I just started saying it on Twitter, and then I made it a company.
Yeah, and it's also a deeper discussion that I want to eventually dive more into at another time. But that's like a conversation too that we don't really talk about, the important people, because we are so focused on the famous, we forget that
every artist got a dentist, every artist got a PR person, every artist got a publicist, a lawyer. It's so many different facets of this business that you can get into, and it's something that I actually thought about, because I want to encourage kids to not just want to be famous, yo.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
true.
you know, famous don't mean you're gonna get rich. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because we're seeing a lot of famous people that we're learning.
Yeah. Nah.
Poor.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it don't always equal out to money. So, you know, be important, because if you important, even when your money get low, somebody gonna call you because they know what you good at.
Exactly. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? They know what you good at. I don't even be caring. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna always say, Amir, I need this. Yep, well, here's the invoice. You know what I'm saying? Like, quick. You know what I'm saying?
So, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to dive more into your story. And I'm really excited for the gems and the even more infatuation to learn even more about who you are that they're going to walk away with.
Yeah.
But this is the part that I'm really most excited about, because you have been a part of the music industry in such a dynamic way. So now I am excited to play my famous either or game with you.
Okay, come on.
So I'm going to give you some hip hop legends.
All right.
The person you say stays. The person you don't say never existed. And I'm going to give you 3 passes to skip. After that, somebody gotta go.
All right.
Tupac or Biggie?
Shit. So the person the person that I choose.
The person you say stays. The person you don't say never existed.
Oh man, damn! Why would you do that one, bro? Ah, fuck. I'm gonna say Tupac.
All right, Tupac.
Hold on. No. I'm gonna say Biggie.
Biggie stays.
Do you need me to tell you why too?
I mean, if you feel like you want to justify yourself once you say this.
Here's why I'm gonna say this, because when Tupac first came out, like, everybody wasn't fucking with Tupac when he first came out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember it was only one person on our campus that kept yelling about Tupac. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We fuck with the Thug Life album, but he was talking about Tupacalypse Now and all. I mean, not Tupac. I forgot the name of his first album. He was running this shit, and we was like, yeah, that shit's cool. But when Biggie, I remember the first time I heard Biggie, and I remember the second time I heard Biggie, and it was his project, and Ready to Die, and I said, I need to go to the record store tomorrow. So that's the reason why. I think Tupac outworked everybody, but
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Jay-Z or Nas?
God damn. Damn, bro.
Remember, you got 3 passes too.
I'm going to pass on that one.
All right. Eminem or J. Cole?
Cole.
Okay, Cole stays.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Kendrick.
Kendrick stays, okay. Lil Wayne or Kanye West?
Kanye.
Kanye stays, okay. 2 Chainz or Future?
Damn. I got to pass.
All right, so he's already used 2 passes. Mind you, we haven't gotten to the ladies yet. T.I. Ludacris?
Tip.
Okay, I figured that was going to be real easy for you. All right, Common or Andre 3000?
3 stacks.
3 stacks, okay. He doing good for the fellas. Let's move to the ladies. Little Kim or Trina?
I mean, I don't think we get to Trina if ain't no Lil' Kim. You know what I'm saying? So, damn, Trina. Why? Damn you.
You got one more pass.
But I've been a part of Trina's biggest record, and she just did a solid for me, and she gonna continue to do a solid for me. And I worked The Hidden Truth, Kim's album when she was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Put Your Lighters Up.
That was a great album.
Great fucking album.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
God, that was a good album.
Shout out to Chucky Thompson. Damn. I'm a pass, bro.
All right, cool. That's his last pass. So that means he got to do the other ones, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right. Eve or Foxy Brown?
Eve.
Okay. Nicki Minaj or Remy Ma?
Nicki.
Okay. Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion?
Cardi.
Okay. Doechii or Doja Cat?
Doja.
Sexy Red or Lotto?
Damn. I gotta go Lotto because she from the A.
Lot, okay. Queen Latifah or MC Light?
Damn. I'ma say the Queen.
Okay. This is the last one. Left Eye or Missy Elliott?
Missy Elliott over every fucking body. You understand me? Missy is my GOAT. Missy, I'm a Missy stan. You might have seen this somewhere. That's probably why you asked me that, bro. I walk to a Missy show. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? I got to see her this last tour she did, and I literally felt like I was watching every single video, and that's what she did. She came out in every outfit that she ever did in every single video.
That was a very good tour. That was what was that? With Busta Rhymes and Sierra?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Man, Missy, yo, over everybody, over all of them. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, if Missy put any one of them projects out today, they gonna slap right now.
Facts.
All them songs could be on. They can come out today and be on the radio tomorrow.
Facts.
And then her pen game, her producing game, all of that shit. Like, look at how many people that locked in with Missy. J. Cole locked in with Missy. You know what I'm saying? On one of his biggest records.
Nobody's Perfect
exactly.
goes down as one of the best.
Like motherfucking Beyonce locked in with Missy. We've been trying to make this happen for some time. Even before I got back here. You know what I mean? You was like, hey man, your story ain't been told right, so make sure you sit down with me.
But it also goes to how I said earlier, you've created something that people will wait for you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's a testament to what you created, and I say it for all of us. We thank you for what you've given the art.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I'm just a fan of the culture, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just a fan of arts, period. You'll catch me in a museum. You'll catch me at a play.
I mean, but you are art.
Yeah.
And so, not only are you a fan, but that's what you are. That's what you produce. That's what you curate.
Yeah.
Art. And I want to thank you. This was the one, the only Amir Boyd. Where can they follow you? Where can they find you?
All my social media is the same. It's Amir Khary. Amir, Amir Khary. Khary is my middle name, which means kingly in Swahili. So Amir Amir Khary. Find me. Holler at me.
Hey.
I'm not. You know, I pride myself on still being accessible to people. You know what I mean? I never wanted to. Somebody told me, like, man, you too accessible to people. And I'm like, man, that's gonna kind of make me stick out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want nobody. I know how it feels when somebody that you came up with go to another level, and then now you can't get in touch with them, or you see them and they be acting funny. Like, I never wanted nobody to say that about me. Yeah, he acting funny.
Conversation with the Media Prince, shop at MOB. We out.